Joe. I just moved here, and the Jewish holidays are coming up next week. Do you know where the closest Jewish temple is that I can walk to? Steve, most of them are in Pikesville. But there is a temple on Roland Avenue not too far from where we're living here on Cold Spring Lane. Really? Great. Let's go there tomorrow so I can join and go to services. So a few days later, Joe Abate and I drove down there. We got out of the car, and as I looked, nothing looked like a synagogue. No Jewish star. Nothing, anything Jewish. But then I looked, and with a sigh of relief, I saw two signs. Head Rabin and Second Rabin. Rabin? Rabin? Rabin, Rabbi, Rabin, Rabbi. Must be a Sephardic shul. So I walked into the building and was greeted by the maintenance man. So I asked him, where can I get tickets for the High Holy Day services? What you talking about? Isn't this a Jewish temple? No, it's the Boomy Temple. So I went back to New York and spent the holidays in the synagogue I grew up in for the last time. The following year, my beautiful wife, Helene, and I were married on August 20th. And at the wedding, Bubby came up to me and said, so, Nu, what you doing for Yom Tov? Well, I guess I'll find a synagogue and buy some tickets and go to shul. No, you don't just buy a ticket. You join a shul. Bubby, it's so expensive. And besides, I don't go to the services every Shabbos. A synagogue isn't just for playing. You'll meet people, you'll become friends, you'll have extended family, business people. It'll be good for you. In the future, you will see that. And you'll find a rabbi who will meet your spiritual needs. The Torah says that. Bubby, where does the Torah say that? I don't know exactly where it says it, but I'm sure it says somewhere. I don't know, Bubby. My wife turned to me. You listen to Bubby. She knows best. So Helene and I went down to the closest synagogue to our apartment on Liberty Road, which happened to have been Beth Israel. We walked in, and we were greeted by Ken Sodden, the synagogue's executive director. May he rest in peace. We would like information on joining the synagogue. It's $600. By Gavalt. Helene, I don't know. Helene looked at me and she said, I think we should listen to Bubby. She knows best. Ken looked at me and said, so would you like to see a tour of the synagogue and meet the rabbi? By the way, the rabbi's really cool. He wears blue jeans. It was 1977. So we joined, went to synagogue on the High Holy Days, hoping to meet a few people, make some friends, but we met no one. 15 years later. Steve, how did it go with your sales manager today? Geez, I don't know, honey. He said to me, I don't want you going to sell those African-American salons. And he didn't use the term African-American. He's just a darn racist. So what did you say? Well, I said, money is green. They're good customers and friends. And if that's in order, you can fire me. 2 weeks later, he did. I got home that night and Helene looked at me and said, Steve, what are we going to do? You don't have a job. There's no money here. I don't know, but we can't think of it now. Let's not worry. Oh, by the way, Steve, Charlie and Cece Witto are coming over, and you're cooking them. And it better be special, because she's the caterer. So what are you gonna make? I'll make a Greek lamb pie. So Saturday night, Cece and Charlie came over. Cece looked at Helene. Oh my, Helene, this is delicious. Well, don't tell me. Tell Steve, he made it. You made it? Yeah. You can cook? Uh-huh. Steve, can you make chicken marsala? I said, sure, Cece. Can you make it for 100 people? Well, if you have an oven, I can. Well, Steve, you have a catering job this Saturday night, and you can cook for me, and by the way, I'll pay you well. When Cece left, Helene looked at me. Do you remember what Bubby said 15 years ago? She knew best. 2 weeks after that first Yom Kippur, Helene got a phone call. It was from a woman named Ronnie Gross. Steve, Ronnie just invited us to join a Havurah group at the shul. And after speaking to her for a while, I realized we shared a class in Brooklyn College. So we joined the group. We met many lifelong friends here that have made our life in Baltimore. Why? Bubby knew best. But there was much more. There are at least thousands of friends and acquaintances that we met through this synagogue. Why? Bubby knows best. Serving on a committee for a fundraiser here, I met my lifelong friend and accountant and president, Lou Friedman, who gave me a job on the executive board. Why? Bubby knew best. While serving on the executive board, I made friends and got this honor of speaking on Yom Kippur. Why? Bubby knew best. Because of my speaking about food on Yom Kippur, which I do often, I got a job working at Savile Foods when Paul Savile heard me. Why? Bubby knew best. When Helene started her daycare business, most of the first families that she had came from the shul. Why? Bubby knew best. When she gave up the daycare business to take care of the elderly, her first client came from the synagogue, and to this day, her business continues to thrive because of the shul. Why? Bubby knew best. At our children's bris, baby naming, b'nai mitzvahs, and other life cycles, our many friends from Beth Israel shared in our mitzvah. Why? Bubby knew best. While I was speaking here on Yom Kippur, I mentioned a town that my Zaidi was from in Russia. And lo and behold, sitting in the congregation was an unknown cousin that we found. Why? Bubby knew best. When we had a stillborn, the death of my wife's mother, my father, and Helene's brother, Beth Israel's friends and clergy eased our pain. Why? Bubby knew best. When I needed doctors, lawyers, and other services, we found trusted professionals and friends here. Why? Bubby knew best. After living here, being a member of 42 years, although we have limited family here, we have many people who are family to us. Why? Bubby knew best. After speaking on the High Holy Days and being on the executive board, I got the greatest honor of my life by being president of this congregation. Why? Bubby knew best. What else did Bubby know? She knew that although your Jewish faith may start in a synagogue. Your Jewish soul follows you wherever you go. Oh, and most importantly, when my wife needs a fourth for Mahjong, you know it. Bubby knows best. Thank you.